So for your props today, you are likely to need something for balance. Low footstool, blocks, close to a wall or some furniture. Perhaps something to pad your knees for any poses where we're on our knees. My dog Pepper is a little bit playful this morning. Just to warn you, he may bark. But he's an old dog, so when he wants to play, we let him play. It's very lovely to see him kind of being puppy-like again. He's about, I don't know, 17 dog years. Let's ground down in our seat. Perhaps you're sitting on a block or a cushion. Lengthen through your spine. Let's bring our hands into Gyan Mudra, thumb and index touching, palms face up on your knees, or you can have your palms face down. When we have our palms face down, we call this Chin Mudra, and when palms are face up, we call it Gyan Mudra. Chin Mudra, again, is a symbol of knowledge, but it's much more grounding. And so a knowledge that helps you feel more centered, a knowledge that supports you and provides kind of, a grounding or a knowledge that kind of confirms the truth of what you already know intuitively. It is a knowledge that is based on facts, science. When we have the upward facing palm, that kind of is a knowledge that uplifts us, a knowledge that perhaps gives us rise for ideas, for us to explore our imagination, for us to make new discoveries. So often, like research that we might do will give us the impetus for using those primary or secondary sources to create something for ourselves. So these are the two different knowledge mudras, downward facing and upward facing palms. And likewise, behind the mudra sits the energy that connects with it. The grounding, centering energy and the uplifting, energizing energy. Energizing energy. That's the saying, isn't it? I mean, kind of like more dynamic energy. Forward propelling energy. Closing your eyes or softening your gaze. Connecting with your breath. And again, today we're working with Vasant, spring season. This new beginning when new life is budding. And this week I've had some delightful news about a new baby being born, about a new pregnancy. So again, just new life blooming, resilient. And I invite you to visualize the color yellow. And I invite you the yellow of nature. So the yellow of a lemon, of melons, flowers. Yellow or this uplifting, expansive color that indicates joy, fresh starts, potential, a positive color, a color that when you paint the walls in a shade of yellow, lifts the spirits of those who are within that space. And let's begin to deepen our breath. And the breath that we're going to take today is Kapalabhati breath. It's often known as the breath of fire. It's translated as shining skull, literally shining skull, i.e. the flame of inspiration, that flicker of knowledge, that light bulb moment we have within the brain. I'll guide you through. If you are pregnant, I advise you to continue to take long breaths. If you are in the middle of your cycle and have a particularly heavy period, then I again advise you to stick with long, slow breathing. Again, and also if you have a migraine now, I often suffer from migraine, so I wouldn't do Kapalabhati breath if I have a headache or a migraine, because it's quite forceful breath. And this breath, when you inhale, your belly expands. Hold the breath in and then you pump the belly by drawing the navel towards the spine and then releasing the navel quite sharply. And the breath is being pumped here at the navel. So the inhale and the exhale is based on this pumping action of the lower belly. The inhale is passive. The exhale is active. So you release the breath with strength. It's a strong breath out. And then that will create space for the inhale to be drawn in naturally. And one thing to help us with this breath is if we place our hand on our lower abdomen, and then we can feel the movement of the belly in and out. So you can even see it here as I move my belly in and out. It's quite a strong breath. So I'll turn to the side, so perhaps that will help you see. I'm wearing a bit of a fussy dress. This is the only yellow thing I have in my wardrobe, as previously spoken about. I'm not sure that's going to help you. Let's prepare. Take a full breath in. Hold the breath in for a moment and then exhaling through your nose. You might want to blow your nose if you find that there's debris in your nose that's flying out. So do keep a tissue handy. So you hear, that's quite an audible sound that I'm making. The sound doesn't need to be audible, but the focus is on the out breath. So as you exhale, your belly is releasing out. Inhale, the belly comes in. On the exhale, you release the belly and the breath at the same time. Keeping your face relaxed, your jaw relaxed, your brow relaxed. And you'll see it is quite tiring, this breath, because you'll notice that after a point, you have less breath to give. So slow the breath down. It's not necessarily a fast breath. It can be a slow breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath out on that last exhale. Tuck your chin for a moment, holding the breath out. Lift your chin. So that's Jalandhar lock. Inhale, breath fully. Hold the breath in. Now let's engage the pelvic lock, the Muladhara, squeezing at the pelvis. Squeeze in here at the Uddiyana Bandh, the ribs. Drop your chin to your throat. So now you have the 3 locks in place, Mahabandhal in place. The Mula, Uddiyana and Jalandhar Bandh all locked. You're holding the breath in. Lift your chin. Exhale slowly. And now return to your normal breath. So what we do when we have this Kapalabhati breath, this breath of fire, it's energizing, it's uplifting. It's the energy we need to create, to bloom, to manifest, to transform. And then when we hold in the breath, we're nourishing, we're hydrating with that in-breath. And then we return to our natural breath. So that's the thinking behind the pranayama. So it's just a different type of breath that we may not be used to. So we'll have one more practice of it. So whenever you're feeling a little bit lethargic, low, kind of feeling like you need to kind of lift yourself up and get yourself moving, then this is really great activating breath. So let's take a full breath in. As you exhale, draw the navel back towards your spine. Focus on the out breath if the breath is going in and out of the nose. So you normally do about 30 breaths like this. Sometimes with more practice, you can take up to 60 breaths. So it should last about a minute to a minute and a half of this kind of breath. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold that breath out. Tuck your chin, holding the breath out. So just sensing what it feels like. Now lift your chin, your Jalandhar lock. Take a full breath in. Hold the breath in. Squeeze at the pelvic. So sense that you're focusing and squeezing the pelvic floor here. Knitting your ribs, sorry. Don't know what your nibs are. Tuck your chin. Hold this breath in for as long as you can, as long as it feels, your capacity feels comfortable to do this. And then lift your chin and release the breath. And then release your bravo. Well done. That's a new breath. Kapalabhati breath. We haven't done that for a long time. Let's open our class formally by bringing our hands together at our heart center. Chant Om loudly, brightly 3 times with a smile on your face. Inhale fully. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Hands to your eyebrow center. Namaste and welcome, yogis. You know, that's my practice done for the day. I'm quite happy with that for my practice. We'll do a little bit of asana practice. But you see how uplifting it is, how energizing. The sense of sunshine just bursts through your body, clearing out the winter shadows and those cobwebs. Really does very, very much a cleansing breath. It's also known as a kriya, a cleansing action. Let's lengthen through our spine. Place your left fingertips on the earth. Finger and thumb together, reach overhead. Lateral stretch over to the left. Seated Undulasana. Exhale through center over to the right. 3 times in both directions, really stretching through the side of your ribs, flowing movements today. So working with the spring season, Vasant, we were talking about Vasant Panchami, our recent festival of spring being celebrated in India, or having special poignance in India this year. And then let's come back to center. Take a moment here. Take your hands behind your back, fingertips on the earth. Draw your shoulder blades together. Open across your heart. Lengthen through your sternum. Lift your chin. Lift your gaze. Drawing your shoulder blades together. Really lifting out of your hips and pelvis here. Gazing up towards the sky. Gentle back bend. Exhaling. Tuck your chin. Bring your hands onto your knees. Really round through your spine. Tucking your chin here.
So curling as if you are doing a seated cat-cow.
But for seated cat-cow, we lift our gaze, take our fingers behind, and then hands on knees and tucking your chin. So let's take that one more round. Inhaling to lift your gaze. Exhaling to tuck in. Back to neutral spine. Let's release our block if we have one underneath us. And let's come directly onto our knees today. Hands underneath shoulders, fingers spread wide. And let's tuck your toes here, tucking your toes for a change. We're going to do cat-cow with our toes tucked in. Inhale, lift your gaze. Exhale to round through Majriyasana and Bitliasana. 3 rounds here. Perhaps you have victory breath, jai breath, this ocean sounding breath at the back of the throat. It's also known as Ujjayi. Jai means long live, let's celebrate, let's honor. And then back to neutral spine. Take a moment here. So we're going to move into side half bow pose. Ardha Dhanurasana variation here. So keeping your right hand firmly planted on the earth. Keep that right toe tucked, or you can come onto the tops of your feet. See how it feels for your balance here. Lift your left knee up behind you. Take a moment here. Now, yogi's choice. You can keep both hands connected with the earth, or you can shift the weight into your right hand. Lift your left fingertips with care. See how it feels, and you might feel wobbly here. Ooh, feel very wobbly, and reach back for this left hand. So this is going to be a real balance. So you might be reaching back, you might connect. See how that feels there. And then let's lift, lower the left hand, lower the left knee, lift the right knee. And again, let's take the right hand across to reach for that toe. This side, it feels more stable. And then back down to earth. Now we're going to do it with the right hand. Again, we're going to start with the right knee and right hand. And this is where it feels wobbly. Come back down to earth. If you fall back, that's fine. Let's lift the left foot and reach over with this hand. And that feels more stable. So we're moving from this sense of wobbliness to a sense of security. So this is, as we all know, spring is a term, an unpredictable season. One moment you can have the sun shining and the skies are blue and the birds are singing. Next moment there's torrential rain and thunderstorms. And that's the turbulence of this pose here. So we're trying to shift our balance. So at one point we might feel wobbly and insecure. Next moment. So play around with this. And then one more time over to the left knee, right knee rather. And also what you're doing here is you're doing this cross-lateral thing with your brain because you're crossing your arms across the midline. So you're switching from left to right. And when we switch from the left to right, it really activates our brain. So it helps us to become more creative by using that cross-lateral section of the brain. We can connect with different points of the brain and become and give rise to more creativity. So that was my little game for you today. Sorry, I didn't warn you that was coming. Okay, now we can move into our regular practice without those little games of switching from left to right. Tucking your toes. Inhale, lift your sit bones. Pedal your feet here. And then come into stillness when you're ready. We're going to do another twist, but this time it's going to be less complicated. We're going to take our right arm underneath our body. So either we can wrap it around the left leg or just reach across, or we can take it to our left ankle, yogi's choice. Look underneath your left armpit. If this feels like it's too much weight on your left wrist, you can come onto your knees and reach across in that way. One more breath here. Back to center. Let's take the left hand over to the right leg, right foot. Gaze underneath the right armpit. Back to center. Let's walk our feet all the way to the top of the mat, come into a forward fold. Allow yourself to feel heavy here. So your upper body is feeling heavy, being drawn down towards the earth. Have a soft bend in your knees or a deep bend in your knees, whatever needs to feel comfortable for the backs of your legs here. One more breath here. Now, if your fingertips reach to the earth, touch the earth gently with the tips of your fingertips. If you need to put your hands on a block or on a low footstool, please feel free to do that. We're going to come onto the ball of our foot here. So your fingertips are just there to help with balance. One breath here. Now, we're going to unfurl the spine. If you can maintain your balance on the ball of your feet, uncurl to come up. And you might wobble. And what you're doing here is you're doing these micro grips with your toes. So when your toes are there and you're moving around, you'll be doing these micro grips. So you see how my feet will be moving. So as I uncurl, I'm engaging my thighs. I'm really gripping the earth with the toes to come upright. And when you're up, lower your heels. Lift your toes. Wiggle your toes one at a time. Hands can be in Namaskar, or if you remember the Saraswati Mudra, Saraswati is the goddess associated with learning, wisdom, the arts, music, playfulness. You can extend your index finger, fold in all of your other fingers and thread your thumb underneath your index and middle fingers so the tip of your thumb comes out just over your little finger knuckle. So let me just come close to you so you can see how it looks. And then we can bring the tips of our index to touch. So that's Saraswati Mudra. Standing in Tadasana. One breath here. Now we're going to go into reverse. So we're going to come onto the balls of our feet. Bend into our knees. And we're going to reach back with our tailbone. So we come halfway, fierce pose, chair pose. We're on the balls of our feet. And then let's begin to release our hands down towards the earth and come all the way into a crouch. And we're going to uncurl again and rise up, staying on the balls of our feet. Come halfway into your chair pose, fierce pose, strong pose as it's known, Utkatasana. Tailbone is reaching back. Imagine you have a block between your thighs and then let's reach up. When you come to standing, release your heels, wiggle your toes, take a moment here. So your thighs are working hard, your toes are working hard. You're drawing your navel in towards the spine. That will help you feel connected. You have either your Anjali Mudra. You can have your hands on your wall or chair or whatever's in front of you to support you. Or you can have your Saraswati Mudra with your index finger extended, thumb threaded underneath, folded index and middle, folded middle and ring fingers, and little finger is tucked in with the thumb on the index of the little finger. And then the index fingers are touching. We're going to move into chair pose, Utkatasana. So come onto the ball of your feet. Reach back with your tailbone, bend into your knees deeply. Keep your gaze parallel to the horizon. Draw your navel in. We'll balance here for a moment or two. Take your time here. And then let's reach back behind with our hands, fingers open wide. Crown reaching forward, tailbone reaching back. And then let's straighten through the legs. Still on the balls of your feet, halfway here. Crown reaching forward, tailbone reaching back. So you might, this is what's known as drinking bird pose. So you can have a bend in your knees, soft bend in your knees, or your legs can be extended. Crown reaching forward, tailbone reaching back. Arms are there for balance. And let's release our heels. Sweep your arms through. Rise up to standing, gentle back bend. Exhale. Hands to the heart. Forward fold all the way down towards the earth. Ardha Surya Namaskar. Hands on shins or thighs. Crown reaching forward. Tailbone reaching back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms to rise up. Gentle back bend. Exhale, hands to your heart. Full breath here. Inhale, arms reach up and over. Gentle back bend. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, fingertips on the earth, hands on shins or thighs. Halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms to rise up. Gentle back bend. Exhale, hands to your heart. Our mantra for today is Om Aim Saraswataye Namaha. Om Aim Saraswataye Namaha. Om Aim Saraswataye Namaha. Beach mantra, the seed mantra for the deity Saraswati, the goddess associated with spring, the goddess associated with learning, knowledge, music, arts, playfulness, dance. Inhale, reach up and over, gentle back bend. Exhale, hands to your heart, coming into Utkatasana, chair pose. You can keep your heels firmly planted on the earth with this one. Palms together at the heart, or you can have your Saraswati Mudra. As you exhale, let's turn over to the left and hook your right elbow over your left knee. Looking over to the right. Parivritta Utkatasana. Fierce pose. with a twist. Inhale back to center. Exhale over to the right. Left elbow on the side of the right knee. Again, look over to the right side here. Right elbow in the air, left elbow on the outside of your right knee. Inhale to center. Exhale, hands to the earth. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Halfway lift. Hands either on your shins, your thighs, or fingertips on the earth. Exhale, fold. Let's step back long with the right foot. Bring the right knee to the earth. Foot can be tucked or untucked. Yogi's choice. Low lunge here. Inhale. Anjaneyasana, crescent lunge. Bring your Anjali Mudra or your Namaskar or your Saraswati Mudra. So remember, Anjali is like a bud where the palm is gently parted, but the fingertips are all connected. Namaskar is palms firmly connected. And Saraswati is this lovely complex one with the thumb underneath the middle and ring fingers, index connected, little finger folded. Yogi's choice here. Lift your gaze, sink into your hips. One more breath here. Exhale, right hand to the earth. Left fingertips stay reaching up towards the sky. Exhale, reach behind you with your left hand. Bend into your right knee and reach towards your right knee. Now we're all going to be in different places. Some of us may be able to reach for our right foot. Some of us may be just heading back towards the right foot. See where you are. If you would like to create more height or space, remember your right hand can be on a block or a low footstool. Your right hand can be reaching back. We can be all in different places here. See how it feels for you. One more breath. Release the right foot. Tuck the right toes. Lift the right knee. Step back long with your left foot. Here we are in Plank Phalakasana. Take a moment here. Exhale, knees. Untuck your toes. Bend into your elbows. Ashtan down to the earth. Chin and chest on the earth. Tailbone lifted. Slide your knees away. Inhale to rise in Cobra, Bhujangasana. Lower to the earth. One more time. Inhale to rise in Bhujangasana. Exhale, lower. And now we're going to add on and rise in Locust Salabusan. So reach your arms long behind you. Big toes can be together. You can lift both legs or one leg at a time. Yogi's choice. We're going to lift our legs, our arms are lifted, lift our heart, lift our crown. Inhale, rise up. Salabhasana, locust pose. One breath here. Everybody ready to release back down to the earth. Take a moment in Makrasana, crocodile pose. Eyebrows center on the backs of your hands, elbows as wide as your mat. Perhaps you sway your lower back to give you a little bit of space. And then when you're ready, yogis, inhale, rise into table to mountain, Parvatasana. Pedal your feet here. Take a breath, Ujjayi breath here, victory sounding breath. We're going to step forward with the right leg. So we're going to bring the left knee to the earth first and then step forward with the right foot. Low lunge here. Left toes can be tucked or untucked. Yogi's choice. Inhale to rise. We're going to rise into Anjaneyasana. Remember, you can use your mudra that you want at the heart. And then inhale to reach up. crescent lunge and vinyasa. Lift your gaze, sink into your hips. Exhale, left hand to the earth. Reach up with the right hand. So the right hand stays where it is. And now we're going to reach behind with our right hand. So again, we're going to bend into our left leg. So let me turn around so you can see that. I just can't see you. So bend into that right knee. Now, this might feel very different. Left leg, sorry, bend into your left leg. It won't feel the same necessarily on both sides because our body isn't like a perfect mirror image of one side to the other side. We look at our face, for example, we look at the size of our hands or the size of our feet. There's a difference between the left and right sides of our body. So recognize that what you might have space for something on one side, but less space on the other side. So I know for a fact that I have less space in this leg. So I'm going to reach back. This could be for lots of reasons. One more breath. Exhale, bring that right hand to the earth. Lift that left knee and step forward to meet your right foot. Inhale. Let's rise through Utkatasana chair pose. Exhale over to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale over to the right. Inhale, center. Rise up. Reach overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take a moment there. Connect with your breath. Thinking about what it is that you want to spring forth in this season. What it is you want to flower. What do you wish to bloom? Ideas, relationships, projects, feelings. Om Aim Saraswataye Namaha. Om Aim Saraswataye Namaha. Om Aim Saraswataye Namaha. Now let's repeat that on the left side so you know where we're going now. Take a moment here. Inhale, reach overhead. Exhale, come into chair pose. Utkatasana. Fierce pose. Over to the right. Inhale to center. Over to the left, tucking, using your elbow on your knees. Back to center. Take a moment here. Let's come into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Let's step back long with the left knee. Bring that knee to the earth. Inhale, hands to sky. Use your mudra that you want at the heart and then rise up. Lift your gaze, sink into your hips. Exhale, left hand to the earth, right hand reaching up. Reach behind with your right arm. Bend into your left knee. Reach back towards your left foot, either connecting or reaching back. Exhale, right hand to the earth. Lift the left knee, step back long, body parallel. You can choose here Ashtang or Chaturanga, yogi's choice. Exhale, lower to the earth. Inhale to rise up in up dog or cobra. We're going to do this again. So if you've come back down, back into Chaturanga, and then rise up again in up dog. Everybody lower. Going to move into Locust Salabusan. Inhale, reach your arms back. Palms can be face down. Both legs rise up or one leg at a time. Yogi's choice. Inhale to rise up. Exhale here. Come into Makrasan. Give yourself a moment here to give space to the lower back. And we're going to move into Parvatasana mountain pose. So yogi's choice, either they can go into table or rise up into up dog, Urdhva Mukha Shavasana, and then back into Parvatasana. Take a moment here. So we're going to step forward with the left foot. Bring the right knee to the earth. Step forward with the left foot. Low lunge here. Chatakasana. And then we're going to rise into crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. Hands in your mudra at the heart. So let me remind you, Saraswati is index extended, thumb threaded under folded middle and ring fingers. End of your thumb is resting on the knuckle of your folded little finger. And then index fingers are together. Inhale to rise up with your arms to the sky. Lifting your gaze. Exhale, right hand to the earth. Left hand reaches up. Exhale, left hand to the earth. Let's step forward with the right foot to meet the left. Forward fold here. And then let's come into chair pose. Over to the right, twist here in Utkatasana, strong pose or fierce pose. Inhale, center. Over to the left. Inhale, center, rise up. Reach overhead, gentle back bend. Exhale, hands to your heart. So you see how the second side flows more smoothly because our body knows where it's going. We always start with the right side, right foot back and then forward, and then the other side is left foot back and left foot forward. Take a moment here. And invite you to come again onto the balls of your feet, arms alongside you, perhaps reaching back behind you. Bend into your knees. Tailbone begins to reach back, crown begins to reach forward, and again you might have to do micro movements with your feet. Drinking bird pose here. And you can have your heels on the earth if it feels, the balance feels too unstable for you. You can begin to straighten through your legs if you wish. And then let's come into the variation where we're more in a Utkatasana pose. So our spine is more upright. Now from here, I'm going to invite you to shift your weight into your right foot and step back along with your left foot. Drop the heels of both feet now. So your left leg is back. It's probably already at a 45-degree angle. If it's not, adjust it. Just the very act of stepping back and then dropping your heel brings it into a 45-degree angle. So you'll see we've come into pyramid pose here. Hands at your heart in your mudra choice. So your energy seal. Anjali Mudra is about budding, about potential that's going to flower. Namaskar is about balance. And the Saraswati Mudra is about new learning, finding wisdom. Halfway here, crown reaching forward, tailbone reaching back. Inhale, begin to reach up, coming into standing pyramid. Take a moment, reach overhead with your hands. Draw your shoulder blades together, lift your gaze, open your heart, shift your weight into your left leg. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take a moment here, bend into your right knee, open out your arms in warrior. So again, you'll be slightly misaligned here, so you might want to take your legs further apart for your warrior pose. Gyan Mudra here can be, or you can have your fingers in sort of lotus type, half lotus type variation. Warrior 2, Mahaviradrasan. Overhead for Shanti Warrior. From Shanti Warrior, we're going to move into half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. So you need a block at the top of your mat or your low footstool or a bit of furniture or wall that you can rest your hand on. Cartwheel that right hand over. Hop that left leg in slightly. This left hand can come to your hips and then lift your left toes. So you move here, transition slowly. That left leg can stay connected with the earth through the big toe. You can have it a few inches off the earth. You can have it parallel to the earth, yogi's choice. And when you feel balanced, I'm going to check my earpiece doesn't fall out. And when you feel balanced here, reach overhead with your left fingertips. And if you wish, you can fold in your left knee and reach for your left foot for Chapasan, sugarcane pose. So you can be in lots of different places here, yogis. You find what works for you. One more breath here. Gaze down towards the earth. Release your foot if you're holding it. Bring your left foot to meet your right foot. Inhaling, bending into your knees. Let's rise up through drinking bird pose, coming onto your ball of your feet. Rising up into Tadasana. Exhaling, hands to your heart with your mudra. Take a breath here. Om Aim Saraswati Namaha. Our practice of yoga, because I don't want to move too much furniture around because it just disturbs the dogs and gets them barking. But if I was at home, I have an armchair there. So I might rest my hand on my armchair. Here I have a door frame. So I could rest my hand on my door frame. So there's lots of places where you can make adaptations using what's around you in your environment. It's the experience we're looking for in the body rather than how it looks aesthetically to everyone else who's watching. Let's repeat this on the other side now. Take a moment here. Arms reach out behind you. Come onto the balls of your feet here. Or keep your heels connected with your yogi's choice here. Begin to bend into your knees. And lowering kind of through Utkatasana. But our crown reaches forward, our tailbone reaches back. Drinking bird pose. And then if you wish, you can straighten through those legs. Keep a bend in your legs so that your belly is resting on your thighs. One breath here. Then rise slightly. And we're going to come into our warrior stance here, or our pyramid stance rather. So we're going to step back long with that right leg, and then immediately drop the heels of the feet. My hands are at my heart. My tailbone reaches back. My crown reaches forward. My left leg toes are pointing forward. My right leg, the weight is also shifting behind onto the outer edge of my right foot. My foot is at a 45-degree angle on that side. My pyramid base isn't very narrow, nor is it very broad. You decide on the breadth of your pyramid base. Crown reaching forward, tailbone reaching back, hands at your heart. Inhale, begin to rise up. And as you rise up, engage your core. This will give you the core strength you need to rise up, so the weight, so you're using the muscles at the abdomen to help you rise up. Weight shifts further into the right leg, the one that's behind. Lift your gaze. Lift your hands overhead in your mudra of choice. One more breath here. I'm going to bend into my left knee and open up into Mahavirabhadrasana. So when you open up into Mahavirabhadrasana, you might need to adjust your legs. So take the time to do that. Coming into Gyan Mudra, or you can have this Ardha Padma Mudra, this half lotus variation with your hands. Going to move into Shanti Warrior. So gaze back towards your right foot, left arm reaches overhead. Your right hand can be on your right leg or wrapped around onto your left. And now we're going to transition into half moon pose. So I'm just going to turn around so I'm facing you guys. I don't really like having my back to you. So let's exhale, this right hand stay on the hip, exhale left hand down towards the earth or onto your block or the wall or wherever you want to reach. And as you do that, hop in with your right leg. And when you've hopped in with your right leg, make sure you don't bang anything in the forehead. Begin to lift through that right leg. The toes can stay on the earth. They can be halfway, wherever you choose them to be. And when you're happy with wherever you are, your right arm can reach overhead. And then see where you want to go next. Do you want to bend into your right knee and reach for your right toes? For Chapasan, sugarcane pose. So you'll be in different places here. And then when you're ready, let's release your right foot. Bring the right foot to meet the left. Fingers on the earth. Take a moment here. And then we're going to rise through drinking bird. Hands come to your heart. Reach overhead. And then let's release our heels and our hands to the heart. Om Saraswati Namaha. May I be inspired by this season of spring, the joyfulness of spring, to learn, to explore, to express through dance, music, poetry. Saraswati is the goddess of speech, communication, expression, vak, sound. All that we say, all that we hear. One more breath here. And then let's come to the center of our mat. So we're going to finish our practice today on our feet. So we're going to do what we did last time, the Saraswati Mudra, variation of Shiva, this dance form, Shiva's dance, Lord of the Dance. So bend into your knees. Let's cross the right foot over the left and come onto the ball of the foot or to the heel. So it might feel a bit different here if you're on your heel. And if you bring your heel down, you might need to bend down a little bit more. So I prefer to be on the ball of my foot. And then let's stick this left hip out. So you can see how this is really releasing here on the, I feel a real lengthening of my spine here on the right side. I can really feel how my spine connects to my pelvic bowl and sits within my pelvic bowl here. So when you've come to this sort of beautiful shape, let's open out our arms. Reach behind you with your right arm and down with your left arm so that you open across your heart. And your hands can be in Gyan Mudra or they can be in Ardha Padma Mudra, yogi's choice. One breath here. So this is a balance. So it may not feel like a balance, but all of the work that I'm doing is happening in my left leg. This right leg, I can literally do anything I like with this right leg. This is the leg that's working. My left leg that's on the ground. So you can see if I lift my skirt up, how hard it's working. Now we see this space here, we're going to rotate. So remember, we pivot on the ball of our left foot, swing our right leg around and come on to the other side. And then let's rise up. That left leg is really going to be feeling it. So let's recenter, reground. And we're going to work on the other side. So shifting the weight into the right leg this time and cross the left leg over. Now your left leg gets a little bit of a break. So again, stick out this right hip now. And as you do that, you really do feel all the weight shifting into this right leg. This strong connection or root to the earth. And then take your left arm overhead and behind you, right hand down towards the earth. Sitting deep here. So this is working on the psoas. Psoas is really helps, it's the big muscles that connect us here around the abdomen, the upper body to the lower body. And we can feel this thing wrung out here. And now we're going to pivot. So we're going to go over to the right, come onto the ball of our right leg. And as we do that, we pivot on it, follow around with our right foot. And then let's switch the balance of the arms. Now, if you were doing this on a smooth wooden floor, it would glide more smoothly. On your yoga mat, it's less fun. One more breath. Exhale, hands to center, release that leg. Shimmy, 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 shake it out. So I like to do a little bit of circling of the hips one way. You can bring your knees into it. Bring your shoulders into it. Put on some music. Just shake it all out. Oh, my breath is like, I'm actually can feel, I don't think that the practice is, I think the practice is quite, this feels like quite a gentle practice for me, and I'm only speaking for myself, but my breath has been working quite hard. I can feel like it's a high energy practice. So it's not necessarily a physically demanding practice. I know some of the balances are demanding, but it's not a practice that's fast-paced. Yet I feel as if I've done a cardio workout because I can hear my breath. So think about how we can move yoga in its simplicity, in its accessibility, can still feel like a really challenging physical practice. But we can bring beauty and creativity to our practice through our mudra, our mantra, our intentions, the compassion we bring to the practice, so that we can all manifest and express and bloom in our own brilliant selves without having to conform to anybody's idea. You know, some people see some flowers as weeds. Some people see weeds as flowers. Well, we want to see all of God's gifts, all of nature's gifts as being these beauties of creation. So our practice, we're going to finish here standing. The reason I'm finishing it here standing is because I want you to go and put on some music and have a little dance. Just your favorite music. Bring some joy. Dance as you roll up your mat. Yoga isn't necessarily a somber practice. It doesn't have to be all like, you know, like serious. It can be a joyful practice which connects us with our earthly life, with our earthly pleasures. And sometimes this sense of sacred means that we take away its inherent joy, its inherent connection to our lives in the everyday. Hands at your heart in your Namaskar Mudra. We're going to close by chanting Om Aim Saraswati Ye Namaha 3 times and then Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Inhale fully. Om Aim Saraswataye Namaha. Om Aim Saraswataye Namaha. Om Aim Saraswataye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dhanyavad, 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 yogis. Thank you so much for joining me today.